Hello everyone. On behalf of Research Scholars Forum, I Jadupati welcome all of you in our third talk of post-PhD career opportunity series, and I hope you all are safe and well. So for this webinar, we have Professor Easter Rajasekharan, who is an assistant professor from Department of Civil Engineering and associate faculty in Climate Studies, IIT Bombay. With this, let me introduce Professor. It's a great pleasure to have him as the third speaker of this series. Professor Easter Rajasekharan was awarded his PhD in Civil Engineering from the Indian Institute of Science, Iesc Bangalore, in 2016, and presently he is working as assistant professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, and also he is an associate faculty in Climate Studies, IIT Bombay. Prior to joining IIT Bombay as faculty, Professor Rajasekharan has worked for NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, it's Caltech, US, from September 2016 to 2018 as a postdoctoral researcher. His area of research includes thermal remote sensing, modeling evapotransportation from remote sensing, many more things. Today, he is going to talk about how to proceed in his career after PhD. Before I hand over to the professor, so it's a general instruction that please be muted through the talk, and when you have question, you can raise your hand in the chat box, or I will unmute you and we'll take your question to the professor. So, sir, over to you, and thank you very much for joining and accepting our invitation. So please continue.
Hello everyone, and thanks a lot to Mr. Nag and the Research Scholars Forum for giving me this opportunity. Anyway, it's nice to talk to all of you guys in midst of it's almost like 3 months since I met most of the students. I was talking only to my research group, so I think it gives me some happiness so that I'm talking to a big forum of students. Though not in person, I feel it is like a little bit happy moment amid this confusing and chaotic times. So today, anyway, as Mr. Nag said, our agenda is to talk about post-PhD career opportunities, in which I'm not going to present anything new. It's not like a formal presentation, but Mr. Nag has shared with me some set of questions, which based on those questions, I'll try to answer those. And in addition to that, if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer. So what I did is I collected all the questions from Mr. Nag, arranged in some particular order, which will give you a feel for how to proceed. And then after that, I'll take questions from you. Okay, so I just put all the questions in one slides, which I will share with you just to serve as a reference. The slide does not contain anything apart from questions. Okay. So if you feel like I'm going a little bit too fast, because naturally I speak a little bit faster, so please tell me and I'll try to slow down a bit. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, I hope everyone is able to see my screen. So these are basically the set of questions which I got from the Research Scholars Forum. I have arranged it in some particular order. First is, who should look for a postdoc? So in general, now many students are doing doctorate degree, and the number of people coming out of universities is keep on increasing. So in general, students who are coming from, especially from elite institutes like IIT Bombay or someone, almost all the students can go for a postdoc, which will definitely amp up their resume, because postdoc is a place which gives you kind of a feel for independent research. Till now, while you are doing your PhD degree, you will be having a supervisor who will be kind of guiding you, telling you, okay, in which direction you should move on whenever you're stuck somewhere. But postdoc is a place where people expect you to do your independent research. Even if you're stuck at some point, people expect you to come out of that point on your own. So in general, person with a postdoc experience is generally considered to be an independent researcher rather than a PhD pass out without much postdoc experience. So what I will tell is, whether you're going to go for a academic job or you're going to go for industrial job, doesn't matter. I will suggest almost all of you to just give a try at a postdoc, because postdoc will give you like a new flavor. Most of you will end up in a new country. Most of you will try to learn new culture, see how the country is, how the work culture over there. So it gives you a really nice experience. So it's not like who should go for postdoc, but I definitely recommend all of you should try for postdoc before you land up in a permanent position. And typically, what's the duration of postdoc? That will be like another question which will be there on your mind. Some people will say like 1 year, and some people might have that doing their postdoc for 6-7 years. I know one of my friend who has done his postdoc for almost 8 years. I would recommend postdoc opportunity for 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years is kind of like a really nice time for you to get some own independent research experience. So if you apply to go for a postdoc, always plan for 2 to 3 years and not more than that. If you do postdoc more than that, then people will actually create a kind of like a minor negative impact on the minds of people. We will discuss about it later. So I will recommend all of you to go for a postdoc, and whenever you go for a postdoc, plan for 2 to 3 years. The first year will run like anything. First year of postdoc, you will go to a new country, you will try to settle there, which will need few months. Then you will start working on your job, and by the time you kind of recognize, okay, I settled down, it will be almost 1 year, say 8 months, 9 months over. So first year will be kind of time you take to settle down. At least 6 months, I will say, not one whole year, but at least 6 months you will take to settle down on your new place as well as your new research area. And then remaining time, like you can wholeheartedly work on your research problem and try to get something out of it. So 2 years or 3 years is a really good time for a postdoc. So definitely try going for a postdoc position and try to plan for 2 to 3 years. Then postdoc and its impacts on. So what I will do is I'll just put slideshow, and then I'll use my pen. I'll just, sorry. Okay. I'll just tick one question once it is done so that I will remember in which question I am, and also it can serve as a guide for you people. So second question is postdoc and its impacts on academic profiles. Yes, as I said, postdoc opportunity or whatever postdoc experience you have will establish you as an independent researcher. So that will be a really nice thing to carry on your resume, because whenever you go for like a permanent position, either in academy or industry, you should be a independent researcher. You should not be relying on somebody else to tell you what to do, because like you are doing your doctorate from a prestigious institute, and with some experience you have to have the kind of like feel to lead a team on your own. So you should be in a position to lead a team rather than working in a team. That is a research team I'm talking about. So postdoc will definitely have a positive impact on your resume, be it academic or industrial. So definitely go for a postdoc, and it will normally carry a positive profile. 90 out of 100 times it will carry a positive profile for sure. Does the place matter for PDF, India or abroad? So we are in the third question. So place for PDF, India or abroad. So what I will say is, rather than thinking about India or abroad, we have to think about which institute you're going to land. Normally, if you look at your academic profile right from your BTech, we always strive to go one position higher for our each degree. Say for example, we might have done our bachelor's from a normal college within our own state or even within our own city where we are born and brought up. For masters, we may move to a prestigious university, maybe like somewhere else, some really big universities or NITs and so on. And for PhD, most of you are here. That's all of you are here, and some of you might have done your masters also from other IITs. So whenever we try to have one more degree added to our profile, we always try to move towards a better institute from where we are currently working upon. So better institute in the sense, that particular institute is better recognized across the globe. That's what we feel. So if you look at my own profile, I did my bachelor's from one of the top universities in my state, Anna University, and the college, I studied in the university campus of Anna University, which is like the top college in my state. After that, I directly went for a PhD without a master's. I went for Iesc. So we always try to look at one portion higher for our next degree. I hope everyone will agree with me. Everyone would have come through the same path. Similarly, for postdoctoral fellowship, you should try to go for an institute or university which is one level, at least one level higher than the position you are currently in. Say now you guys are currently in IIT Bombay. So if you want to do a postdoctoral fellowship, if you want to do it in India, then I would suggest you to get some really nice fellowship within India. Say some of the fellowships I will tell later. It's actually one of the questions, post PhD opportunity in India. So you should be having your really prestigious fellowships within India if you want to do it in India, because already your PhD is in IIT Bombay, which is a top institute in India. So if you want to be in India hereafter, you should be working as a postdoc with a really prestigious fellowship. If not, better to go to a institution ranked higher up than us in abroad. So that is my suggestion. So it is not about India or abroad, but it is about choosing the institution which is better placed than the institution that you are currently in. And since you are already in one of the best institutes in India, for most of you people, you should try to go abroad, better universities. Abroad means not any universities, but always go for better universities which is ranked higher up than IIT Bombay globally. And it should be easily recognizable. Say if you go and tell like, okay, I've done my postdoc from say MIT, Harvard, or Oxford, or whatever university, say Monash in Australia, something of that sort. It will be much better, more recognized, rather than say if you say some unknown name that may be like a good university, but always try to have a better recognized name as for a postdoc. That will also help, because when you come back, and if you say I have a postdoc from such and such institute, and if people can easily recognize this institute and value it at a higher place, then it increases your chance of landing up in a permanent position. So it's not, again, I'm just repeating it, it's not the question of India or abroad, but it's a question of which institute you're going to land up. Okay. So, but for IIT Bombay students, mostly it will be abroad, because you're already in one of the best institutes in India. Okay. Requirements to get postdoc. Publications or area of research. It's one of the questions. So, for postdoc position, especially that comes with its own fellowship, definitely you should have publications. Whatever be the area of research, you should have at least 2 publications. I will strongly suggest 2, because I have applied for a few fellowships, and even the fellowship that I worked in US, it is mandated to have at least 2 publications by the time you submit your application. I hope like most of you would be kind of like publishing your doctorate work, but if not, if some people may think, okay, I can publish my work towards the end of my doctorate degree, say in 4th year or 5th year, I would say that's not a really good option. Because whenever you want to go for a postdoc, definitely in the application, you should have 1 or preferably 2 publications against your name. And in order to have 2 publications against your name, you should start publishing in your 3rd year itself, or worst case 4th year, if at all you have not published. If you have published, congratulations and good, please carry on with that. If not, please try to start publishing, and I'll always suggest to have 2 publications against your name whenever you apply for a postdoc position. Most of the prestigious fellowships abroad, not even prestigious fellowships abroad, even like when you apply against advertisements, most of the postdoc opportunities in abroad come with advertisements. They will definitely mandate 1 or 2 publications. Mostly I've seen 2 publications, and that too first author. Having like a first author publication is really important. So just going off track, some of you may think, or some of you might have publication in which your guide might be a first author, or you might have collaborated with many, you might be working in an interdisciplinary project and you may be a third author or fourth author. I'm not telling it is bad, really good to have publications, but try to have publications as a first author. First authorship will normally come when you do work on your own and also when you write paper on your own, because normally I have seen students, they would have done their work, but they will not be in a position to write a paper. They will ask their guide to, or whenever, whatever they write, it may not be publishable. So the guide will sit and write, and naturally the guide will take the first authorship. I have seen it happen to some of the students or even some of my friends while I was studying. So a good PhD student, a good researcher should not only be capable of doing research, but also should be capable of writing papers. That's why I emphasized on the point, first author publications. So always try to get at least one first author publication before you start applying for a postdoc. Do work, do a good work, and try to write it in a way that it can be published. And definitely I say your guide will approve, even if your guide is saying like you're not going to write, but if you write well, definitely your guide will give you first authorship. So no problem will be there in it. So please try to have at least one publication against you, whatever be the area of research. The second point, area of research, I don't want to expand much, because since I come from a engineering background, I don't know much about how it is there in science or humanities. So I will say, just say whatever be your area of research, just try to have one or two publications against your name by the time you apply for a postdoc. So this question is also done. The next question is, what are the various postdoc fellowships in different countries? I guess most of you will be knowing it, because almost all the named fellowships are well known across the world. I don't want you to tell you guys, but just as kind of to have a continuity, I'll just mention what are all the postdoc fellowships that I have come across in different countries. If you know that, just take it as you are a kind of like a refresher. If you don't know that, it's good that you guys are learning. Okay. First, as usual, we'll start with United States of America. So US has a lot of different fellowships. First, I will say the most well-known Fulbright Fellowships. So Fulbright Fellowships in US is well established. Most of us will be knowing. Some of your friends might have gone for postdoc under Fulbright Fellowships. Fulbright has like different fields, and also there's a separate fellowship, Fulbright Kalam Fellowship in climate. Especially people working in climate related problems can apply for Fulbright Kalam Fellowship. So Fulbright, you can always look at the website. I think it's USIEF. If you just search Fulbright Fellowships, it will give you like lots and lot of information. Nowadays, Google is the best source of information. So please search. So United States, one of the most prestigious, most difficult fellowship is the Fulbright Fellowship that you can search, that you can always apply. Second thing, what I will say is NASA. Since I worked in NASA labs, NASA has its own NASA Postdoctoral program, NPP they call. I'll just scribble it down on the screen. NPP it is called, NASA Postdoctoral Program. So that is again one of the most competitive and one of the prestigious fellowships available. So NASA Postdoctoral Fellowship, how it works is, NASA has a lot of research projects going on under its belt. So each project will be having its principal investigator, and they will advertise under this particular program, because this particular program, almost all the projects will be directly funded by NASA, and they will advertise, and the applications will be processed centrally, and then you will get a chance to go to NASA labs, any one of the NASA labs. So this is one of the competitive fellowship, but just keep one thing in mind. NASA Postdoctoral Fellowship, or NPP, NASA Postdoctoral Program, sometimes it may not be open to people from outside US, because some projects, they may classify it as national security, and for such projects, they will allow only US citizens and not all others. So for NASA Postdoctoral Program, please check eligibility, especially with regards to citizenship, whether Indian students are allowed. Some projects will not allow Indian students, only United States citizens will be allowed. So whenever you apply for NASA postdoctoral program, please keep that in mind. So these two are some of the well-known named fellowship in US. Apart from it, in United States, most of the postdoctoral opportunities will come through sponsored research projects, like especially in research centers, not universities and research centers. I think most of you people will be knowing the academic or research scenario in United States, where people will be trying really hard for getting sponsored research projects approved, because most of the people will be getting the salary out of it. So it's not the case of like India, but United States, almost all established or young scientists will be trying to get their own projects, and each project can support graduate students, postdoctoral fellows and everything. And almost all projects will have at least one postdoctoral fellow associated with it, because in the United States, what will happen is each scientist will be having numerous projects, more than 10 projects with them. So if they're really established, so they will not be in a position to manage their projects on their own. What they will do, in each project, they may hire a postdoc plus one or two grad students, and the postdoc will be expected to take a lead in running the project. So that's why I said, when you go for a postdoc, you will be expected to do your independent research and lead a team. Say you have to do research on your own, guide the grad students working on the same topic, and report to your project investigator how the project is progressing. So if anything happens, the project investigator will come and ask you how it is going on. So almost all the projects will definitely have one postdoctoral fellowship. They are not named fellowships. It is a normal project. Like your guides will be having projects. You may be having friends who are admitted under TAP category. Same thing, similar to TAP category, but people will be admitted as postdocs. Here we call them as RA, research associates. They are postdocs. So almost are like 50 to 60 postdoc out of 100 will definitely be coming from project opportunities. The postdoc that I went is based on a project. Like my postdoc mentor had a project and I worked on the project. So it is kind of project based. Okay, so that also some people will advertise openly. So it may come in any of the university websites. Say if you search in any university, they will list in their career pages. Or if you look in some society, say like American Geophysical Union, IEEE Society, all these, they will publish monthly magazines. Those magazines will have career pages, and these postdoctoral fellowships will be advertised over there, or in most of the university pages it will be advertised. So these are not named fellowships. They are normal project-based fellowship, but again, it's you will have same salary and everything. That's all, but you will work on that particular project. So it's not like a named fellowship, but definitely carries value to it. So you can give it a try. I actually worked on a project-based postdoc fellowship. Okay, so this is regarding US. Okay, so if you go for other countries, so next apart from US, you can look at Europe, where you have different countries have different fellowships. I think DAD has like in Germany, DAD fellowship, DAAD, DAD fellowship is there. I guess it also supports postdoc scholars. Then there is this Max Planck Institute's postdoctoral fellowship is available, MPI, Max Planck Institute. I think for certain fields it is available, not for all the fields. Then if you go to France, what I know, because I applied to one of the fellowships by French Space Agency. Like French Space Agency, they call it as CNES, French Space Agency. So they have their own postdoctoral program, and you can apply for that. Every year the call will come, I think around June, July, I think the advertisement will come for next year intake. So that's like one of the top fellowships in France, CNES fellowship. But people working in space like remote sensing or allied fields will be having priority over it, because it is like a sponsored by French Space Agency. So people who are working in Earth or space related domains can try for that CNES fellowship. If you go for England or like UK in the sense, you can try for Newton Baba fellowship. Newton Baba, I'll just write or I'll just create an empty screen. Just wait a second, please. Yes. So in UK, you can go for Newton Baba Fellowships. They have a scheme, I think, for different fields, and there's a Mary Curie Fellowship is there, I guess, because these are all I have heard. It's not like I've applied to everything, but I just heard from some of my friends. So I'll just write everything. US, Fulbright. Sorry, my handwriting is poor. I'm writing almost like an awkward position. And then you have this NASA postdoctoral program. UK, Newton Baba, Mary Curie, and then, sorry, German, you can try that. I don't know whether that supports postdoc, but just you can search for it. And then there's Max Planck Institute postdoc opportunities. Then, as I said, in France, you have the CNES Fellowship, French Space Agency. They have their own postdoctoral fellowship. And then if you go to Australia, I think they have their Endeavour Fellowship. Australia's Endeavour Fellowship. And then I guess Israel has its own fellowship. I forgot the name, but Israel has some 2 to 3 named fellowships in different fields. Especially some of the big universities are in Israel too, like Technion is there. I think there are one or two really good universities in Jerusalem. One of my friend who worked with me in NASA was from had done his first postdoc in Jerusalem. So they have really some really good universities which are ranked much higher than IIT Bombay. So you can always give a try. Israel has some really 2 to 3 good named fellowships which you can apply. And in comparison to Fulbright or Newton Baba or Mary Curie fellowships to Israel are somewhat lesser competitive, I will say, because most of the Indian students don't look for it. They normally look for, whenever people say as postdoc, people will always look for UK, US, and such Europe or such countries. So Israel is one place where you definitely can try. There are really good universities. And then what? And then, as I said, you can always try for project-based postdoc fellowships, which will be less competitive, and also you have a lot more opportunities, because named fellowships competition will be really high. So always try to keep your options open. Always try to look for different non-named project-based this thing too. Okay. Okay. I'm back to the first screen. So I think I briefly touched upon this postdoc in different countries. If you people know something more, please share it with me so that I can learn. Next question: is it essential to secure a host institution or lab before applying to get fellowships? Though it is not essential in all the fellowships, it is highly recommended to have a host institution to support you. Say in the case of whatever be the fellowship, whenever you apply with the support of a host institution, people will think that you are taking your postdoc as really serious. That is, you really want that position. People will think you are really serious about it. So better to have a host institution supporting you. So it's always better, say if the application will come up in July, it is better to contact potential host in say April or May, possibly earlier too. Discuss with them, try to come up with a research proposal. If it is like a named fellowship, most of the named fellowships will definitely ask for research proposal. Come up with a research proposal which is suitable to you and also to your host, and then attach it with your application. So if you want to go for a named fellowship, it is always recommended to identify a host institution, identify a postdoc mentor, have a research proposal along with you. That is that will ample up your chances a lot. Some applications will say it's not mandatory to have host institution identified, but even though it is not mandatory, it is highly recommended to have. So whenever you want to apply for a fellowship, please try to secure a host institution and then apply for the fellowship along with a proper research proposal and a support letter from your host. So the support letter from host will definitely carry a high weightage. So please have a host institution supporting you before applying for a fellowship. Postdoc selection procedure, how to approach a professor, how to prepare for interview process. That is kind of like a really good question, I'll say. Whenever you want to approach a professor, first keep few things in mind. That is, when you are like about to complete your PhD, you should be expected to know few really big names in your field. Whatever be your field, whatever be your research area, by the time you complete your PhD or you are in your 3 years or 4th year of your PhD, you are expected to know at least some 10 different leadership, 10 different names in your area, research area. So when you think that it is the time to apply for postdoc, please write an email to them. Don't think that they are really big fellows. They may respond or they may not respond. Most of the people will respond, I'll say. Most of the people will respond. But it depends on how you contact them or how you write to them. First thing, you want a scientist or a professor postdoc position, have a CV ready with you, curriculum vitae ready with you. So prepare your CV in which try to highlight what you have done, especially in your research area, because you are going for a research position postdoc. Try to have a CV ready with you, highlighting what you have done. Say what are the different projects you have worked on. Projects in the sense like here we will normally take one topic, especially TA positions. We will normally not be identified with a project, but during your PhD time, your guide might have asked you to contribute in one of his or her projects. Say, can you please share your results with me? I want to put it in this project. Like that, you might have contributed to 2 to 3 projects minimum by the time you finish your PhD. So try to contact or talk with your guide and try to identify the project names in which you have contributed. And I put them in your CV. You have worked on these projects, and also write what you have contributed, whether you have collected data, analyzed the data, interpreted the results, written paper, whatever. Tell that I have worked in this project as a PhD student, and my work, I have done these works. Definitely that should be there in your CV. And then your publications. That's where at least 1 to 2 publications is mandatory. Especially most of the fields in engineering, just leave, if you leave computer science or electrical area, most of the fields will give higher weightage to journal publications. In computer science and electrical, like there are really big conferences which are peer reviewed and competitive to publish. I agree with that. So for such fields, publishing in conferences is good enough. But for most other fields, like especially like civil engineering and so on, journal articles get a much higher weightage than conference publications. So please have 1 or 2 journal articles as with first author. That is most important. Has first author, try to have 1 or 2 publications, put it, and also write briefly about what is your contribution to the publication. Always write whether a project or a publication, mention in your CV what you have contributed. And then mention your academic profile. Like definitely most of you will be consistently having a good academic performance. Starting from your undergraduate degree, you can start writing. So emphasis on your academic curriculum, your research projects, and all those things. Write neatly about your research capabilities, what are all you are capable of, like programming skills. Some of you might be really experienced in operating one particular instrument, which is like a rather sophisticated thing. Explain about it. I have capability in working with such instruments. So whatever you have done for research, neatly in a CV. And then when you write to the professor, please keep in mind, like don't write one email and send it to all. If you have identified 10, 12 professors, please write personalized emails to them, because even though your research area is the same, each scientist will be having slightly different area of expertise than other. So when you write to one person, please personalize your email to them. Write particularly what you find interesting in them. Say one might be working on, say, And since I am from remote sensing and this thing water, I'll say examples from that. Say one may be working in remote sensing of water. You have to write like, okay, I'm interested in your this particular research area. So you have to identify 1 or 2 research areas from that professor's website. Mention that in what is of your real interest. So please tell them, and also how you will contribute. So that's why I said how many number of mails you write doesn't matter. Each mail should be personalized according to the person to whom you are writing to. So please personalize your email and send it to each professor. That is the best way to contact everyone. Do not write blank or bundle emails, like writing one email and sending it to all of them. Like I will be receiving, especially during admission times, like tens of emails every day telling that, sir, I have seen your profile, your research is of interest to me, I want to work under you. Only these names will be there, and such emails will never get any response from scientists or professors. Do not write such bundle emails. Please be personal. Say, I looked at your web page, I'm interested in this research area of you, and I want to contribute like this in this line. I am attaching my CV with this. If you have any opening, please let me know. Like that, personalize your email to each and every prof or each and every scientist and send it to them. If they have any project, definitely they will reply back. That's how even I got my postdoc position. Like I wrote to a scientist, like the scientist was from Jet Propulsion Lab. He was having a project. So he emailed to all of his colleagues, through which I got an email telling that, okay, through which I got to know he has such and such a position available. So I wrote to him that how I can contribute to the project. He invited me to take part in the interview. So that will happen. So be personal in writing emails. Please do not write bundle emails to all the profs at once. Take your time, go through the research profiles of each and every scientist in detail and write personalized emails to them, and have a really good CV with you, which really tells about your research capabilities. Okay, so this is done. I think it's 40 minutes. Okay, 35 minutes. I'll try to wrap up quickly in another 20 minutes. Post PhD opportunities in India. This is where, like I talked about in the beginning, if you want to do your postdoc in India, you should have like a really good named fellowship, some prestigious fellowship. So some of it is DST has its Inspire faculty program. So most of you guys at the end of their PhD can definitely think applying for it. So DST Inspire faculty program is, it is a kind of program, some of you might be already knowing it. So Department of Science and Technology gives this. So where you have to identify a host institution. It's mandatory to identify a host institution. And say like you have to go apply based on that. Some institutes may allow, some institutes may not allow. IIT Bombay has its own rule. So some institutes may allow. When you contact the head of the department of your concern, of your interest, they will say whether it is allowed or not. So if they allow, you can definitely take them as host, get a support letter from them and apply for this DST Inspire Fellowship. Fellowship amount will be equal. I think now it is a consolidated of 1.25 lakhs, if I am correct. This consolidated amount is more than 1 lakh. That is a good fellowship to have in India if you want to work in India, because I know every one of us cannot go abroad, either due to personal reasons or due to whatever be the reasons. Every one of us cannot go abroad. So DST Inspire Fellowship, I'll just write screen. DST faculty, DST Inspire Faculty Fellowship. So when you complete or when you defend your thesis and you have 1 or 2 good publications, you can always apply. Normally, even though it has a name of faculty fellowship, it is not normally faculty who are in a regular position will not be considered for it. So young researchers who are just completed their PhD and looking for postdocs will be considered for this. You can give a try to this DST Inspire faculty fellowship. Next thing is IISc Bangalore. I think they have a fellowship what is known as Raman Fellowship. I think the name is Raman. Long time back I have seen it. So this is again highly competitive. IISc has its own fellowship under the name of Raman Fellowship. Since IISc is one of like top research institutes in India, definitely you can go there and work, whatever be the department, because I done my PhD there in civil department. So almost all departments are really good and is the one of the best places in India to do research. So definitely you can go there. Raman Fellowship you can apply. I think the fellowship amount is 1 lakh per month. So that is also a good post opportunity for you. So these are some of the top opportunities for you. And if you really want to apply for different things, what to say, there is a National Postdoctoral Fellowship Program, NPDF, which is, I think, again offered by DST. So National Postdoctoral Fellowship Program is there. CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in India, has its own postdoc fellowship for people to work in CSIR labs. Like there are really good labs belonging to the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research in India. They have their own fellowships to support your postdoc program, and you can go for it. But what I will suggest is, since you are from IIT Bombay, always you should try for some of the top fellowships like this, like where you go in a better institute. Like you should, since your PhD is from IIT, your postdoc should be in another IIT or IISc at the minimum, I will say. CSR is a good place. They have really good labs, but being in an academic institute is different from being in a research institute. So it's totally different. So try to get any of these fellowships. Even NPDF will allow you to work anywhere. Any of the IITs also. Fellowship is slightly lower, but you can always give a try. So if you want to really work in India as a postdoc fellow, please try to have some of these named fellowships, which will be an added value to your profile. Or if you want to go abroad, better go give a shot. Also, you will be like really happy in living in a new country. Okay, that will give you a complete different experience. Yeah. Okay. Availability of funding from India for PDF in abroad. So I don't think funding is available in India for doing postdoc abroad. I think there is a funding for doing doctoral program, but I don't think funding is available from India for postdoc in abroad. So this is almost out of question. So if you want to get some funding from India, you have to work in India as postdoc, or funding opportunity you have to try from getting from abroad. Then this is one of the questions which was not part of the list that I came to me, but I just added to it. Taking family abroad during postdoc. It's again one of the most important questions that people will be having. So whether to take family with us or not. So as I said, postdoc opportunity, whenever I said the beginning, I said that for just 2 to 3 years, you should really think whether to take your family. It is completely up to you. Like when I went, I did not take my family because when I first went abroad to US, I made up my mind I'm going to come back in 2 years. And since it is going to be only 2 years, I don't want to take my family with me. I said like, okay, I'll go there. I will work there and I'll come back. And also I wanted to strongly return to India. I did not want to settle in abroad. So I felt that leaving my family back in India will also be an urge to me to come back as soon as possible with a permanent position. So I just said like, okay, I did not take a family abroad, but it's completely up to you. But I will say, if you really have made up your mind to be in as a postdoc just for 2 years or 3 years, you can leave your family back here. At least when you go for the first time, do not take your family with you first time. Just go settle there, get a good house, settle in your job for first few months. Then maybe you can take your family. That will be a good option. But whenever you go for the first time, if you take your family with you, some of you may be even having like young children, young babies with you. So don't take them with you the first time when you go settle there and then take them. Or as in my case, I have not taken my family to US. Like whenever while I was a postdoc, they also did not want to come. Anyway, that's a different story, but still you can come back and then you can settle there. So it's up to you, but always think, please don't take your family whenever you go for the first time. Just go settle there. After a few months, you can take your family with you. Then the last question in the postdoc topic is effect of COVID-19 on research opportunities. Yes, actually, this is an unfortunate time for especially people who are about to finish their PhD and enter into the independent careers. Funding will definitely reduce. I will not say it's really a rosy time to apply for postdoc. Funding would have reduced, especially almost all countries would have spent a lot on COVID measures and they may not have funds to support scientific projects. So it may not be there, but it's not really bad also. It's not like a world war scenario. So where almost all the funds would have got drained. I don't think so. Funding is there, especially some of the named fellowships will definitely be there. But just keep one thing in mind. Since the funding has reduced, people will be definitely be scrutinizing your application a lot more than normally they do. So you should be prepared for that. Say, for example, if they normally have 100 100 places or 100 seats for a named fellowship, this time they might have reduced it to say 75 or 80. So it slightly increases the competition. So your CV should be able to cope up with that. So please be prepared in that sense. So it's not a really bad time to complete your PhD and go for a postdoc, but not like a really rosy time also. So please prepare for it. Whatever you apply, make sure you drive home the point that you are the best candidate for the job. You should write it really well. If you cannot write well, take help of your friends. Some of you might be really good writers. Take help of your friends. Write it in a really nice way and tell the person reading the application that you are the best candidate. You should drive home the point really clearly in your application itself and be really confident when you attend the interview. Okay. Oops, I directly went to, I closed this. Yes, sorry. Yeah. So questions about, then from postdoc, I quickly want to move and wrap up with questions about faculty positions. So because some of you might be really thinking to go for like a academic position too, directly without a postdoc. So for them also I should address. So NITs and IITs in general have a compulsory postdoc requirement, but it is good to have. Say after your PhD also you can apply for an assistant professorship. It's not that you cannot apply, you can apply, but a person with a postdoc experience, as I said before, will have a slightly better advantage considering them as independent researchers. So better to have a 1 or 2, at least 1 year of postdoc experience. But if you really want to go for an academic job, then by the time you are going to defend your thesis, you can start applying to IITs or NITs, whatever you prefer. So generally all NITs and IITs will have requirement of doctoral defense. Do not apply after submitting your thesis. Apply when you have defended your thesis. Like your defense is slotted next week, then you can prepare your application now. So do not apply as soon as you submit your thesis. Please wait till your defense and then you apply. And when you apply also, there also publications will definitely have a weightage. What sort of research you have done and how you present yourself, because the selection procedure in IIT and NIT are different. I'll just quickly list out them because I think I'm already running out of time. First, in NITs, advertisements will come out, like they will advertise in papers. It's not a rolling advertisement in NITs. They will definitely advertise, okay, this is the time we are looking for assistant professors in these departments. Like that, they will apply, they will have a fixed timeline and then only you can apply. Similarly, almost all IITs, new IITs have a fixed deadline of application. Advertisements will come, you have to apply against that advertisement. That is first thing. Second thing, NITs being like a teaching intensive places, they will ask you to give a seminar and also to take classes. Most of the NITs will have 2 phases of the first round itself. First phase, you have to present a seminar about you. And then second, they will give you a topic and then you have to take class based on the topic. It's almost like teaching undergrad students. They will do that. But in some of the IITs, it is not there. Like in IIT Bombay, the teaching thing is not there. But I think in IIT Gandhinagar, it is there. So some IITs have it, some IITs don't have it. But in almost all IITs, you have to teach a subject. But to a set of professors, not to students, to a set of professors, where they will evaluate you for your teaching skills. So that will be there, and then you will be asked for final interviews. So in general, in NIT and IIT, you have to apply against advertisement. When you apply, if you are found suitable, you will be called for a seminar, where in seminar you have to share your research experience with them. Faculty will sit and evaluate you, and sometimes you may be asked you to teach. After that, if you are found really suitable, they will ask you to appear for a final interview before a final interview board. And whether you are doing a postdoc abroad or not, and if you are invited for IIT for an interview, as I said, there are two phases, but try to come in person at least for one phase, at least, I'm telling. Because what will happen is, like, most of the institutes will not allow you to attend seminar and interviews through online mode. They will ask you to come in person at least once. Like in my case, even though I was in US, I came in person for both my seminar and interview. My seminar and interview happened within 1 month. So I got a really long vacation approved from my university there in US, came here, stayed in India for 1 month, attended both, and then went back to US. So please try to attend in person. That again gives them a feeling that, okay, you're really serious about the job. So that is really mandatory. So at least for once, you should come back to India, whether even whenever you're in for doing postdoc in abroad. Okay. So I think other nitty-gritty details, maybe we can talk later if there is anything, or when you have questions, we can discuss. So publications, again, it matters. Definitely you should have at least 2 papers. I'm repeating at least 2, because even in IIT Bombay, civil department has a mandatory requirement of at least 2 first author publications to apply, to be eligible to apply for a faculty position. So 2 makes you eligible, but that does not guarantee you a call for a seminar. You should have more publications. So that's why I said from PhD you may get 2 to 3 papers, or sometimes 4, and your postdoc may give you 1 or 2 good papers. So totally you have 4 to 5 papers against your name when you apply for a faculty position. So in that case, postdoc really helps you to get at least 1 or 2 papers under your belly. So please do postdoc rather than straight away apply. But if you have really good number of publications against your name immediately after your PhD, you can go for academic job, does not matter. But if you don't have really good number of publications against your name, go for a postdoc, get 1 or 2 more publications added to your CV, and then apply. And then final question that I will address: placement opportunities in industries as researchers. I'm not really qualified to answer this question. I'm openly telling it, because as soon as I finished my bachelor's, I made up my mind that I'm going to be an academician, because I, as like all young graduates passing out of engineering colleges, I also got placed in an IT firm in back, I think in 2010. Yes, I worked in an IT company for 1 year, like information technology company for 1 year. I got fed up, and I thought, okay, I want to be in academia, and I never look back to industry job after that. So I'm not a really good person to answer this, but still I'll say, like, almost all engineering and science domains has opportunities. Like I know some of my friends who have done their PhD from US and other places, and now they are working in Google research and so on in US, but they're in US, not in India. But in my own field, like remote sensing, I don't see much industrial opportunities, because almost all the research going on are in academic places or in government sponsored research organizations. Not much are there in industry. So I'll say almost all engineering field, like whether you're in civil or electrical, computer science, or even science degrees, there are specific industries to you, but I really don't know the answer for it. But I don't say it is zero, but there are really good opportunities in industry also, high level positions for people with PhD degree, but I'm not in a really good position to answer. Okay, so with this, I'll conclude my talk, and I am open for questions from you people. Yes, thank you.
Sir, thanks a lot for the wonderful talk. So already people asked few questions in the chat box, so I will take the questions to you, and then we can take some live questions from participants. So first question.
Stop sharing my screen. Stop sharing. Yeah, fine. Yes.
Yeah. So can we apply for Fulbright Postdoctoral Fellowship 1 year prior to my PhD completion at the site it said that only after you have obtained your degree you can apply.
Yes, I think for Fulbright you have to complete a defense. Some fellowships will not apply. Will definitely want you to complete defense. So it's always, even for Fulbright fellowship, I think it is good to have at least defense in next 1 or 2 weeks and apply. So you should apply with your provisional certificate, or at least when you appear for your interview, you should have your provisional certificate ready. So basically different rules. So please see the eligibility criteria. That's what I will suggest.
Okay, sir. So next question is that is doing PhD in the field which is still not popular in India but popular in abroad is advantageous for securing faculty position.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not a really matter about India or abroad. It is which matters most is the institute in which you are doing it, especially for postdoc. And I think it is not like, I don't think there is anything like a field which is not really popular or not there in India. Definitely all fields are there in India, but some people may not know it much. That's the only thing. Field will be there. So yes, it is always advantageous to have a postdoc from abroad, that too from some of the prestigious universities, and come back to India. Yes, whatever be the field, it's not like known field or unknown field, whatever.
Okay. One more question, that how much time prior to our defense can we apply for postdoc position?
Yeah, again, that varies with fellowship or with your project position. Like as you rightly pointed out, for Fulbright, defense might be mandatory. For some of the position, like I applied for a CNAS postdoc position in France, for which defense is not mandatory. You can apply with when you are about to submit your thesis. I attended the interview; they considered it okay. And also when I went to US under a project, they did not mandate defense to be completed. I joined prior to doing my defense. Like my thesis submission and defense took almost 10 months. I was one of the unfortunate student. So for 10 months, I never wanted to wait. I asked my postdoc mentor. He said, okay, fine, come. As soon as you have submitted thesis, you can come. So I went there. So it depends on the fellowship, depends on the project, and depends on your postdoc mentor, if it is a project. But again, some universities may allow, because especially in Western countries, defense will happen as soon as you submit thesis, because the thesis advisory board will be totally within the institute. I know some of the friends from my Caltech, they might have submitted thesis this week. Next week, they will have the defense, because their entire thesis defense board will be from Caltech. So for them, it is really easy. But for students like us in India, we have to spend we wait at least 3 months from the time of submission to defense. So it depends again. But for most of the fellowships, yes, you should have your defense line. But as soon as you're about to submit your thesis, please start contacting the potential host that you should make. Say, if you're going to submit thesis next month, by this time, you should have identified host. As soon as you submit your thesis, prepare your postdoc application. And by the time your postdoc application is processed, I think within 3 months, you can complete your defense in India. So I think when you're about to submit a thesis, you should do this thing parallelly, contacting your host, preparing your research proposal and everything. So don't wait till you submit your thesis. Please start preparing your proposals just maybe 1 or 2 months before you're going to submit your thesis. That's the best time to start, yes.
Okay. So, sir, I'll take a live question from the participant.
Sure.
Yeah, so Suhadip, please, can you ask your question?
Can you?
Hello?
Yeah, you are audible. Hello? Yeah, please ask the question.
Shubhadeep? Yeah, I can ask.
I think, yeah, he is disconnected. Anyway, so, yeah, so if he again appears, we will take this question.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so next question is that if one has postdoc opportunity in India and in abroad in top 10, but due to this corona situation, he cannot travel foreign country, then what do you suggest to him?
I think corona, it's like a unexpected situation, and people will understand even if you cannot travel. But I guess if you are like in India, you will definitely be most of the time people will be supported, because I don't think any university in India will throw the students out during Corona time. I think so. They will definitely have some backup plans to support their scholars. If that is the case, please keep working. Don't let your CV come to a stagnant point. Like whether you are stuck at home or stuck in your university, it doesn't matter. Please try to keep working, especially if you are like computational based worker. If you are a laboratory based worker, I'm sorry, you cannot attend your office, but still people will understand that. But if you are like who are like a computer based modeler, please keep working and try to have some work done during your Corona time. And then when all these things clear up, definitely this time will help you. This work that you have done will help you, and people will definitely take this in account. It is not that people will say, okay, your career has a break. It's not like that. People will definitely take that in account. And then most of the postdoc position also may wait. I think people may extend getting you in till these things clear up. So I think definitely people will take this into account. So do not worry about it, and don't get disheartened. The time is not really bad. If you have a position, that position will definitely be there, or else something will definitely open up soon.
Okay. Sir, I'll take a few more questions quickly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
how stubborn is the age limit for the application of assistant professor?
Okay, that's a good question. For assistant professor, the age limit will be advertised as 35 years maximum age, and that will be viewed more seriously, because like I have sat in panels, like especially in civil departments, so people will take that as seriously. If you are like 35 or so, you have good chance. But yeah, once you have crossed the 35 age limit, then it will have like a slight negative point against your name. So that's why I said, say when you finish your PhD, most of you will be in the age group of say 30, 31, or even younger, much younger, definitely, but maximum will be 30, 31. And 2 years postdoc, you will be 33 max. Apply for a postdoc position then itself. So 35 age limit will be viewed seriously, and people will, if you are above 35, it's really difficult to get into an IIT or NIT. That's sure. So you should apply when you are 33, 34 max, definitely.
Okay. I'll take a live question. Yeah. So,
Yes.
Ankur, could you please ask the question?
Hello.
Could you please ask the question? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for a wonderful talk. I have some queries, like how you compare the as academic researcher in India and abroad, like in terms of the funds and the setting up the labs.
Okay. This kind of like a double-edged sword, I will say. Double-edged sword in the sense, in abroad, almost all the things that you have to do will be resting on your shoulders. Like when you go and land up in a university, most of the universities will definitely ask for a part of your salary coming projects. So you will be under pressure to under your. So you should get almost most of the funding that you need from either endowments. Almost all universities will have like definite endowment amounts coming from donations, charity, and then your own projects. In India, amount of funding you get is kind of limited. I will say limited in the sense, so you cannot really like really huge proposals costing in crores. Definitely, almost all proposals will have upper cap. Say like some of the proposals that I wrote had a maximum cap of 30 lakhs, including everything. So it's kind of tight on budget. But at the cost that we are going to incur in India is much cheaper. That is first thing. It's not really going to cost you really lot unless you want really expensive equipments coming from abroad. So in India, your salary is guaranteed as soon as you land up in a permanent job. Salary is guaranteed in the sense government will give you some amount as a salary. You need not worry about it. You have to only worry about getting your equipment. So opportunity wise, I think both abroad and India are equal. But the amount of money you get for your proposals, like in abroad, you can get really huge amount from some of the funding sources. In India, some of the funding sources is really limited. Like there are really few funding sources which can grant you amount in order of crores. Most of the funding fellowships will give you 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs money for a 3-year project. So the amount of funding you get from India will be less, but at the same time, expense is not really huge in India. That I will say. So it's almost more or less same, I will say. I think in India it is somewhat easier, I felt. In US, you will be under constant pressure to apply for projects, get your grants done and everything. But here in India, you are not under that tremendous pressure. You can work in a relaxed phase. So I think I've answered your question. If not, please let me know in which not I'm not clear.
Okay, sir. One more question that followed by the age restriction. So the question is that she will attend 35 years when she will complete the PhD.
Okay.
If everything goes well, and so at this moment, whether she should opt for postdoc or try for a placement in any reputed institution as assistant professor.
Okay, age is almost 35 years. Okay.
Yeah.
If the age is almost 35 years, then they can directly look for a academic position in some of the universities. But again, whether the candidate has publications and the candidate is a candidate, it is not like it's as soon as people, if they attain an age, the job is not guaranteed. Still, they have to cross all the hurdles. But I think he or she can directly start applying as soon as they finish that defense. Better to go for a job. Yeah.
Okay, so I will take one more live question.
Yeah.
So Bhavna, could you please ask the question?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
I can hear you, Bhavna.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sir, do you recommend industrial postdoc?
Industrial postdoc, that again
like if
depends
you
on
do
the
from
industry
US
and
based
your
and
area of research.
okay, is it
You can
as
do that. You can
valuable as
definitely do that. Yeah.
okay? So is it as valuable as academics? Like if you do it from academia, like if you want to get like want to apply for NITs or IITs, is it as like equally valuable?
Yeah, definitely, it's equally valuable because that will be treated as industrial experience, and IITs and IITs will always value industrial experience. So if you come back from, say, I know only examples from computer science field. Some of my friends did their research in Honda research. Honda has a computer vision research field. Google has it. So some of my friends worked as postdocs in those institutes, and again but they have not come back to India, but they have like got good academic jobs. So yes, you can always work in industry too. It's not really bad to work in industry. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll take few questions more because we are getting so many questions, but yeah, there is a time constraint. So if you allow, I'll take 2-3 questions more. These are from chat box. Yeah. So how much impact does the CPI or percentage has on getting a postdoc?
CPA on a postdoc may not matter much. Like if you are above average, right from your undergrad, that should be sufficient to get a postdoc. Because when you go for a postdoc, people will definitely look at your research background more rather than your academic score. So that will be not a big problem. But when you apply for a job, especially in IITs, people will definitely have a look at your academic scores. I'm sorry, if you're really low in that, but if you're above 60, but if you're like kind of bordering 60% and also definitely people will ask what has happened. That may come up. So to get a job in academia, your scores will matter to some extent, but to postdoc, not much, I will say. Postdoc, your research experience is more valuable.
Yeah, so one more question is that if someone has graduation and post-graduation in basic sciences, but PhD is in interdisciplinary engineering department.
I can see that, Mr. Nagi. I can see that in the chat box. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's a question from Ms. Anjali, right? Okay. So it's not going to be a problem if you want to land up in established IITs. Like my own example is the best case. My undergrad is not in civil engineering. Like I have done my bachelor's in geoinformatics. it's a relatively unknown field in India. So most of the NITs, I applied equally to all most of the NITs as well as IITs together, wherever there is remote sensing group. Most of the NITs haven't recognized me, but IIT Bombay called me because most of the older IITs, bigger IITs recognize that interdisciplinary research is a need of the heart, but some of the newer IITs and NITs, since they are tightly bound by their teaching schedules, like NITs are more of teaching institute than research institute, and newer IITs also has lot of teaching load rather than research load. So they will not consider interdisciplinary studies at present, but next few years down the line, it is possible, but at present, they are not interdisciplinary studies, they may not recognize much. But older IITs will definitely recognize interdisciplinary studies, and that may not be a problem.
Okay, sir. So I'll take the last question. So
Okay.
do the salary negotiations happen while applying for postdoc positions?
I don't think so. Salary negotiation, salary will be fixed when you apply for a postdoc. They will say, this is the range, and they will fix it. We will not be in a position to discuss with them. They will say, this is a salary based on your profile. They will have a scale. Okay, this is your experience. This is your publication record. This is your area of research, and they will fix it. Normally, we cannot be we cannot negotiate. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think we should stop it because there are questions, but yeah, we have also time constraint. So, sir, on behalf of the RSF team, I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to you for this great talk, and I may also like to express our sincere thanks to Professor Rajasekaran for giving excellent coverage for the topic. And so let's thank the speaker once again, and I also thank all the participants who are here for the talk. I also extend my thanks to my team members, especially the event team of RSF, who are working hard and from their enormous cooperation for organizing this event. So this is for information that our next event is on 21st Sunday, and it will be an informal online discussion with Professor Abhijit Majumdar from Chemical Engineering Department, and the topic is post PhD way forward. Thank you, sir, once again, and we will see you again in the next talk, and we'll inform the results soon. So thanks.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for giving this opportunity. And you can write to me if you have any questions, like a digest. Maybe I'll try to answer some of them, if not all. Thank you. See you.
See you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.